Hi guys, it's Belle here. I wanted to come on and share this completed craft challenge that I've done this year. So as some of you may know, because I did an earlier video which I'll link down below, I decided this year to do the 100-day project. I think this is the 7th year it's run, and it's my second attempt at it. The first one was not successful last year. This year I decided to do a craft project, and I gave myself some rules which I'll tell you about when we look inside. And when it was complete, which I did do, yay, I did all 100 days. When it was complete, I was trying to work out how exactly I was going to sort of organize it and have somewhere to put it all in one place. And finally, because the cards I'm using are 3 by 3 inches, finally I found in my stash Simple Stories. I believe it's an 8 by 8. Let me just double check that. Simple Stories, yeah, 8-ish by 8-ish folder. Now, I'd actually bought this a couple of years ago to do an October daily, because I'd attempted to use the Simple Story folders then, but as many of you will now know, I prefer to use junk journals to do both my October and December dailies in. So this was just sitting there, and I had all the sort of plastic sleeves to use. And so on the side, I've just done 100-day project 2020. And it's worked out perfectly. It houses them all brilliantly, keeps them safe and in one place, and uses something that was in my stash. So I'm going to quickly flip through and kind of go through it. So firstly, just a simple title page. The project runs every year, starts on April 7th and went all the way to July 15th. And so that's just my title page. And then on this page I kind of wrote about why I had done it and the rules. And just in case you didn't know, if you haven't seen my previous video, the 100-day project, you can do anything you'd like for 100 days. Last year I tried a photography challenge. It didn't quite go the way I wanted. Anyway, this year I decided to give myself simple rules and guidelines so I didn't get overwhelmed, and made sure it was something I could do every day because they're simple. And secondly, I wanted to do something crafty because that's what I've tend to do, love to craft. So the 3 rules I gave myself was, firstly, everything was done on 3 by 3 cards. They weren't the rules, that was just some card I had to use up. The rules were every piece had to include a word or a phrase. Every piece had to include some sort of stitching, and basically they shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. Now there are a couple in here, well, one in particular that took longer than 10 minutes, but by giving myself 10 minutes to work in, it meant that I didn't get overwhelmed or stressed with, thinking, oh, I've got days to catch up on, because sometimes I did forget a day and I'd have to do it the next day. And, if you've given yourself a task of a big thing to do, well, for me that wasn't going to work. And what I love is I try to use the scraps that were on my craft table, and specifically scraps if they were related to projects. So when I look through this, I can now remember lots of the projects I was doing over those 100 days. So let's get started. So these ones in particular, these are the first days. I had these plastic folders that are divided into 4, but I didn't have enough for all the 100 days. So I had some of, that were just plain, and I had some that were just the bottom bits with the pocket. So I actually got my fuse tool out that I haven't used for a while, and I actually made lots of pockets myself. So I used up even more of my stash. So these are the first few. I've written on each of them on the back what day they were, the date, and what the scraps were from. And these ones are of the gratitude journal I was working on just at the beginning of these 7 days. And yeah, they're just little cards. I just started a fairy journal, which is Violetta, which you can find the video of as well. So that was those, and just some little scraps that I had in my scrap bag. This one the tags actually pull out. This little guy still makes me laugh. I was doing a tag challenge that no, it wasn't, it was, yeah, it was a spring tag challenge that Lipstick Legion Craft, who's here on YouTube, had her set. And sorry if there's glare, and that little guy just makes me laugh. They were the scraps I had left over from that challenge. Let me bring you in a bit more so you can see them a bit better, because you don't need to see the back bit. Anyway, so that was that one. This was, I was doing lots of snippet rolls, so that was that. And this was, I think I'd finished the fairy tale. Yeah, this was the scraps left over after I'd finished my Violetta fairy tale challenge. And I was working on an altered book that I still haven't finished, but with that one. These are just some scraps I had. This was an order that I'd received that day. And this one, I was working on my Creepy Spring journal, so there were some of the elements left over from that. Some happy mail that I had and some new stamps. So I really just love the way I was using what was on my table. And also these little cards are great to use in journals as well. Actually, they're a really good size. So this was the one that took a bit longer than 10 minutes because it is a cross stitch piece with beads. I wonder if you can see that. And that was for Beltane that day, 1st of May. And these are just some little scrap bits that I had. Some new stickers and washi that I'd received that day, these beautiful crystal stickers. And again, this was working on the Creepy Spring journal. This is a little bit special because it was my son's birthday on that day, and it was also VE Day. So I used some VE Day wrapping, some of the wrapping paper for my son's present, and there's a little picture, Tim Holtz person, of a mum and a son. Let's see if I can come a bit closer. Sorry, don't want to make you sick. Motion sickness. So, and it says happy birthday to you. Again, just some scraps. And this was, I'd started working on my Green Man journal, which again I've got a video of down below. So I had some scraps out for that. This day I had been making some of these button embellishments, so I decided to use one on my scrappy embellishment that day. Completely out of place, very colourful, but again it was some scraps I had and some bits and bobs in my scrap bag. I have a huge scrap bag, hold on, let me get it, and this is just one of them. It's a huge scrap bag. I have quite a few, so I was trying to use some of those up. Some Halloween ones, I was trying to use those, and that was a piece of stamping that I had in my scrap bag and that I hadn't used, and some Tim Holtz bits. This again was from some happy mail that someone had sent me, and again just some more scraps. Just lots of words. Decided to get some of my Halloween scraps out because I was getting ready to make a new journal. And then, yep, this one was the Green Man journal as well. Love these fairies and all the leaves. Hope you can see that really well. And my spooky, it says on there, too cute to spook, because she just looks so cute. So I hope you can see these okay. I think these were all just general ones. It doesn't remind me of any journals that I was working on. They were just scraps that I had lying around those days. That was some of the Creepy Spring paper that I still had lying around, and some stamping and embellishments and fabric. This one's one of my favourites. I'll pull it out. As you can see, the heart is cut out and on acetate. So anyone who's following my Pink Odd Bird challenges, journal prompt challenges, will probably recognise this, because it's one of the pages in the Pink Hole, one of the pages I did in the actual challenge. However, it was when everything was going on with the George Floyd murder, and I was just feeling a bit, everything was looking very dark and bleak. Yeah, this just put the little hope in the heart, trying to remain positive and hopeful in challenging times. And then that's where this one came from as well, Photograph Your Life. She used a stamp and some gesso and some watercolours on that one. And then this one is actually, again, it's the Blackout Tuesday that went across social media platforms, and it just inspired me to do that card. And then a card for kindness as well. Love this card down here. This is a steampunk card. I was getting ready for another new journal and going through some of my steampunk stuff, and I used some flakes on there, so love that card too. Some vintage pieces. Again, I was doing my pink Oddbird prompts for that. And then this one, Freedom March, to represent all the protests that were going on in the world, and just a reminder of why they were happening, you know, to keep in mind what other people are fighting for. So yeah, and then this one, Remembrance, down there. So some of these have actually quite important reminders or memories for me. It turned into not just a craft project, but an actual memory keeping project as it went on. So this was my Alice journals that I was working on. Some of you, if you've seen those videos, will recognise the kits and some of the quotes and things from there. And then I went a bit vintage for a few days and did some of these, getting some little Tim Holtz. This was about my sister, which says, I'm thankful for you, down here. So, yeah, did that one to remind me of her. And this is one of my favourite ones. Again, you can see I've used, what they called gilding flakes there, and done some Tim Holtz sort of mixtures with the inks and things. And this was in memory of the summer solstice in Litha this year, so I love that one. And then right after that, because that was the Saturday, was Father's Day. So I did a card to remind me kind of my dad, who, yeah, reminds me of my dad. This was some of the fabric left over from the Alice journal, so I decided, right, let's use those scraps up, and just some other bits I had lying around for these different ones. This one is actually, I'm doing a 3x3 creativity challenge with some friends. It's a year-long challenge that we do monthly, and this was the June bits and pieces that I'd been sent to do the art journal page with, and I used what was left and some of the techniques I'd used on the page actually on the card. And again, these were bits left over from the Green Man journal, as if that wasn't obvious with the Green Man there. This one, I was just getting bits of fabric and stuff and ideas together for a new journal, which I think the video for that will be just before this one. It was a Victorian Gothic journal, and it started off, I was going to use a red and black cover, and it actually changed, but it says Ghosts and Goblins Galore. And here, I'm a huge bullet journaler, have been for several years, and it was time to do July's setup. So some of the bits and pieces I had out to do July's bullet journal set up were used here, and then I just reminded myself, you can do anything but not everything, as bullet journals kind of remind you. Do your to-do lists. Again, some scraps. This again was some Happy Mail, and these were both from scraps left over or scraps that I had out when I'd started working on the Victorian Gothic journal. And these were, again, it's to do my 3x3 creativity art journal pages, and these were some of the bits that my friend Anna had sent for her month, and I decided to put them on there. Aren't these skulls great? There's actually some gloss on one of those. She hand drew that and created that paper. It's absolutely beautiful. And as I had my Gothic stuff out and my Halloweeny stuff out for my Gothic journal, I did a few more Gothic pages. We're almost at the end. And then because these had been really Gothic and dark and beautiful, I don't know, I went through my scraps and decided to go a bit more purple and black for the next few days. it was actually my birthday on this day, so I used a bit from the cards that I'd been given, and someone had ordered me some special cakes and things, and this was one of the dies that I'd been given for my birthday, so I just put celebrate, make a wish. And then down here something had misprinted out of my printer not very well, so I decided to use it and make a page out of it. And then you've got this one with lots of stitches. Dream out of dreams, dwell on possibility, go with your heart and create. And then finally, this one was, this again was from the Victorian Gothic Journal. Some was left over. Just some little bits and scraps that I still had there. These are some Mrs. Coggs. I've used these quite a lot. I use them in my gratitude journal, and I've been using them through the year. So Mrs. Coggs words, and then finally 100 days. You can see a bit of a hole there. Can you see that hole there? Because this is one of the pages that I had to use my fuse tool on, and it just wasn't working very well. But yeah, that says today 100 days. It's got some vellum, some hand stitching, because by this time these ones have got hand stitching on because my sewing machine had decided to die on me. And it was a nightmare to get a new one because they've sold out everywhere. And it didn't matter where I was looking. I just kept getting told, sold out, sold out, sold out. Sorry if you just heard my son, he's on a game. I did manage to find one finally, but I'd already completed these. So these have all got a bit of hand stitching on because that was one of the rules. They all had to have stitching. And I completed my 100 days. These make great little tiny pockets in journals or little journaling cards. And all I can say is, one, I'm very proud of myself for completing the 100-day project. Way! And secondly, that this has really become, like I said, it wasn't just a craft project by the end of it. I can look through this for years to come and remember journals I've made, happy mail I've been sent, and some of the political stuff. Well, not political, but some of the events of 2020, shall we say. So that is it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Are you inspired to have a go at the 100-day project next year? I'm already trying to think about what I could do next year. Probably be another craft project, but maybe not. And let me know if you did do it this year. Did you complete it? Did you not? Have you got ideas for next year? And let me know what you think of my project and what I picked for it this year. And if you like what you've seen, please click the subscribe button. And that's it for now. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I will be back again soon. Bye.